I'm about to go on holiday, so to prepare my garden for the weeks I'll be away, I've done a massive harvest of anything that was ready to be picked. I started by cutting this huge trough of coriander, which if I'm being honest, should have probably been cut a few days ago. And I'm going to make it into the best chimichurri recipe that I've ever tried. How much you can grow from just one trough is crazy. And look at it after I cut it, it looks so disastrous. Now because I'm going away tomorrow, I'm not going to have time to eat all this stuff, so I'm processing it into sauces, pickles, or something I can freeze so I can make it last till I'm back. And this is when the time I've spent collecting jars over the last year becomes really worth it. Next up, I'm grabbing all the cucumbers I can get, including the tiny baby ones, which are just forming. I crinkle cut the bigger cucumbers and then left the smaller ones whole. Then added it all into a sterilised jar with some spices. I used fennel because I hate the taste of dill, and I also put in a bay leaf. You're supposed to leave these for 2 weeks to pickle in the fridge, which is perfect because by that time I'll be back from holiday. I did the exact same pickle recipe with these red spring onions, chopping them up really finely and putting them into a mason jar. The only thing I switch up in this recipe is using apple cider vinegar instead of distilled. Then I pruned my basil plant, which I should do way more often because it helps it to get bushier. As long as you cut back right to where it branches, then you'll get twice as much growth the next time. And obviously I have to make a homemade pesto with this. I love to use a ratio of 80% basil leaves to 20% carrot tops, just because that way I get to sneak in a little bit more goodness into the pesto and maybe make myself feel a bit better about using quite so much oil. And just a little tip, fill the jar up 95% of the way with pesto and then top the rest of it up with oil. This will stop the top going brown as it oxidizes with the air. So then I did a huge baby carrot harvest. I always grow carrots in a 50-50 mix of compost and sand. This way you don't get so much forking. Can you believe I grew all of these in this one container? I absolutely swear by growing carrots in containers and raised beds, and I will die on that hill. I'm just going to roast these really simply with olive oil and salt, and we can snack on these throughout the day really quickly whilst we're packing our suitcases. Now I'm not going to lie, I'm getting a little bit bored of eating beetroot salads. So for this recipe I'm going to try something a little bit different. I always start out by roasting them because I believe that that brings out the sweetness way more than boiling does. And then comes the best part, which is the peeling. This is so satisfying, I could actually just do this all day. I'm going to use these beets to make beetroot brownies. Brownies and any type of cake, I suppose, are really good to freeze. I'm going to try this later in the season with courgette cakes and also a carrot cake too. I just know it's an absolute guaranteed fail-safe way to make sure that my family actually eat what I preserve. Because I don't know if you've ever tried getting kids to eat pickled vegetables, but it's just not successful. So here's everything I made. Please like and follow for more.